Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to the Animous. Today we're going to be doing one of our tutorials. We are going to be going ahead and hitting up our Waterslide Decal tutorial applications, right? So this is something that was requested a while back by one of you viewers through Instagram. So I decided that maybe it was time that I got it done, and what better way to do it with a kit that we're currently working on, which is the Gundam high-grade Gundam Aerial from our Gundam Aerial build series there. So I went ahead and did a few of them in examples, so that way you guys can take a look here. So to apply water slides, a lot of people have a misconception that it's a very hard thing to do. It's really not. You know, it's not, like I've mentioned before, it's not rocket science. It's something that anybody can do, and it's easily accessible for everyone to do. However, it is a process, and you do require tools for it, right? So you can't just take it out of the bag and decide, hey, this is what I'm just gonna stick them on there and work, because these are not regular stickers. All right, so let me start by saying that and getting that out of the way. You know, these are not regular stickers. These are stickers that are applied with solutions, or you know, and it's something that a lot of people use, other builders use, whether it's model airplanes, model cars, you know, other figures. And they're fairly used in the hobby community. When it doesn't matter what they're building, most of the times they do use Waterslide decals. It just leaves a better finish overall whenever you apply them to your model kits, and it's just, to me, they just look better, period. You do have companies that make these Waterslide decals. So you have Delphi Decal, you have G Rework, you also have Simp Decals. You know, there's a lot of them out there. You know, those are just a few of them that I know. You got Hobby Mio, you know. All of these companies make these Waterslide decals for you to be able to, you know, expand your knowledge, maybe practice a little more and apply them to kits. Now, where this actually comes into play is when you buy high grade kits. They usually don't bring a lot of details, right? You only see those high detail stickers on the real grades and above, right? So having the Waterslide decals for a kit like this, it's very, you know, it's very convenient, and I'm very glad and grateful that these companies are out there doing this, right? So let's jump right into it, right? So for this, you're going to need some tools. I always like to start with the tools first, because, you know, you always are going to need them. So the first thing you're going to need is a hobby knife. You're going to need a hobby knife because you're going to need something to cut your Waterslide decals with off the sheet, right? So, which is very important. The other thing that you're going to need is the solutions, right? So here I have two of the examples. Oh, drop that one there. So I have mark setter, mark softer. So one is to apply, the other one is to thin them out a little bit more, and it goes from there. There are other solutions that you can use, like for example, these. Now these are very famous through the building community. Mainly because they also leave a very clean finish whenever you are applying your decals. I've used it a lot too. Fairly cheaper than the mark setter and mark softer. I think I got these for $4.50 give or take each. So these are fairly cheap as well. Now I did run into someone that was running the new to me at least, the Display solutions, right? So those are these right here. I haven't used these yet, but I will be using it in a future video to see how it works out while I'm building, right? But I don't like a mix and match decal softener, so that way, you know, I just stick with one throughout a whole build and then move on from there. But now the next thing you're going to need is going to be, of course, your Waterslide decals. Now, like I mentioned before, I did start applying the Waterslide decals for the Gundam Aerial. So these are the ones that I have, right? So I did get the Delphi decals. They've been completely reliable to me when it comes to water slides, so I just keep maintaining them and keep using them all throughout together. Another thing I wanted to mention is a detail and customizing material decals from Bandai. So these, I actually started researching them because I saw that the Mega Strike Freedom would bring some of these as well. So these are not your normal decals. These are detailed plastic printed decals, right? So it does have the metallic look with I think it's like a silver background. So when you take them off, it looks like that. So I wanted to give you guys an example of what it would look like. I also use some of them in the shoulders here to give it a little bit more detail. Let's glam up the aerial there. So I do come in a package with all the colors. This is how it looks like whenever you're packaged. It does have the little baggie here, like the standard customized materials as well. So I believe it's completely worth it. I believe it's like $6.50 or something like that, super close. And you know, I haven't had any issues with it. Next thing you're gonna need, swabs, right? So why are you gonna need swabs? You're gonna need them because you're gonna have to get that excess liquid or fluid out from the decal and then work your way around it. You're gonna need some tweezers, so you can also have those around whenever you are like grabbing the pieces and everything like that. And you're also gonna need a toothpick. Right? Now this one is optional. Now you all know that I like using my toothpicks. So usually the reason why I have a toothpick is because I like moving the decal around, and it's just not viable with tweezers. Sometimes they tear apart whenever you're using tweezers, so I'd rather use a toothpick to move them around. Now the next thing you're going to need is somewhere to put the water so you can place your decals in. So there's a few ways you can do this, right? They have the decal trays that most companies sell, and you can also get one of these. I got this up of AliExpress. This was like $1. You know, and it brings a sponge on the inside. It also brings extra sponges. You fill this up with water, and all you got to do is place the Waterslide decals here, and then go from there. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So I did already place some of the Waterslide decals on this leg part right here, just to give an example on how they would look. As you can see, they look really good. You know, it's just an example. I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate how to place the Waterslide decals yourselves, so that way you can have an example on what to do and maybe what not to do, right? So I always say that if I make any mistakes during my videos, it's always a happy mistake, because that means we can both learn from it. But as of right now, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna choose the best one that I believe will fit in this part. Now, there is a couple of ones that give you an option. Now, the one thing that I want you all to remember is that some of these Waterslide decals are extras that the companies add just so you can have a little bit more detail, or add a little bit more detail to the kit itself, right? So, like I mentioned before, these Waterslide decals are specific for this kit. The kit itself did not bring any decals when it came for like detailing. Usually the only kits that include stuff like that are either real grades or master grade and above. Some high grade kits might include some decals for details, but not all of them. So the first thing you're going to want to do, you want to go ahead and cut the decal that you're going to use. All right, so now that we have it out, we're gonna go ahead and place it in my little pad here, where we can just let it sit for a while it soaks the water in. While we're doing that, we're gonna go ahead and cut another Waterslide decal that might be used in that area as well. Now, by the time that you keep cutting the water slides off the little sheet, and you're trying to get that finish that you want for your kid, or you know, you're trying to decide where to put the water slides or where not to put the water slides, that's enough time for the paper to soak, right? So again, we're gonna go and make sure that this is well shaken. Once it's good to go ahead and open it. We're gonna dab the area where we're gonna put the water slide, just lightly. You don't want to soak the whole area. And if you do, it's not really an issue. Oh, I chose the wrong part there. Give me 1 second. So we're actually going to be placing it on this part. All right. You're gonna gently grab the sheet where your water slide is at. They're gonna get a little bit delicate, so you might want to make sure that you keep your hand steady whenever you're doing it. This requires a lot of patience and a lot of love, so that way you don't ruin the water slide itself. When it comes to placement, usually I just place it on the part and then worry about moving it afterwards. All right, so once I've selected the area where the water slide is just going to stay, you just got to make sure that it's as straight as you want it to be, maybe lined up. Perfect. Now this technique I learned online from one of the forums. Somebody taught me this. So what you want to do is that you want to gently roll your swab on top of the water slide. Get all that excess water out, or excess solution out, and that is the end result. Now you want to make sure you let these dry or sit for a little bit. So while it's actually drying, we're going to go ahead and grab the other piece or the other water slide and place it on the part. Go ahead and gently dab the part. All right. Grab the water slide. Now these caution water slide decals, you have to make sure, like if you're like me that, you know, I usually have to wear glasses and stuff to work on my kids. You want to make sure that the word caution is not upside down. So you want to make sure that you actually keep it steady as possible. So let's go ahead and place it right here. All right, now let's go ahead and line it up. So that actually looks really good right there. Let's go ahead and swap the excess. Perfect. All right. And as you can see, the water slide decals do add a lot more detail to the parts. Now, this might be just a preference. Some people will say that less is more. I actually like a lot of details that the water slides bring out. So to me, this looks great. All right, we're going to go ahead and do one more and then wrap this video up. I did want to mention that when you are putting water slide decals on, like for example, as you might know, my kit already has a flat finish on this. So I will be retouching the flat coat with another coat. So that way the water slide decals will lose their shine and look like part of the plastic itself, which is what you want when you do water slide decals. Now, there is a controversial opinion over there. You know, some places or some people might say, hey, you know, if you don't have to top coat your water slide decals, or, you know, if you've already top coated your kit, then you don't have to re-top coat it when you put your water slides. I guess it's up to preference, right? Because although I like my kits top coated, I have tried it both ways. And I would say that for the longevity of your water slide, you want to make sure you top coat it, right? So yes, I could place the water slides like this and then just leave them. However, if I want my kit, you know, if I want the water slides to last, or maybe because of humidity they might fall off, or they'll lose their adhesive, or whatever the case may be, well, it's just up to preference, right? I like to do my water slides and then afterwards do a top coat, but that's just up to me. Not everybody's the same. Everybody's going to have their own opinion, and everybody's going to have their own techniques when it comes to this as well. Good to go. Now, I do want to mention that for these water slide decals, there's also a solution that it's a mark softer, right? So the mark softer, from my understanding and what the interweb has told me, is that the mark softer is just softens the the actual decal itself, maybe to go through some curves or maybe indentures or anything like that, but it also kind of melts it down a little bit into the plastic itself. So this is completely color safe and top coat safe. So for those of you that might be looking at me, you know, dabbing it in excess and going like, oh my god, what is he doing? Well, you know, it is like that. You have to do that. I haven't had any issues with my top coats. It's complete paint safe, in my opinion, because I haven't had any issues with my paints, even in the long run, right? So what you want to do is that it's going to leave some excess. All that excess, you're just going to go ahead and dab it away. All right. And that is it. And this will be what the finished piece looks like. All right. Well, that is it, everyone. I would like to thank everyone who watches my videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos and future content so you can help the channel grow. And if you need anything, make sure to leave a comment. I'll be sure to respond. If you need any other pointers, you can follow me on Instagram and other social media that I have posted on my page. So, see you all next time.